Two papers, two different challenges. Grade 12 CAT learners, your prelim consists of two very different challenges. Paper 1 asks, can you actually use the applications? While paper 2 asks, can you explain the concepts and apply them to a particular scenario? And in both papers, learners often lose marks not because they know nothing, but because they misread a word, use the wrong feature, or provide one fact when the question asked for two. And so in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to approach both papers, manage your time, and avoid throwing away easy marks. So stay until the end of the video because I'll give you a final prelim checklist that you can use just before submitting. Now, as I mentioned, paper 1 and paper 2 require completely different skills. Paper 1 is worth 180 marks and you have 180 minutes. That's why you have 3 hours. That works out to approximately 1 mark per minute. Paper 2 is worth 150 marks and you also have 3 hours. Paper 1 covers file and folder management, Word, Excel, Access, and HTML, while paper 2 includes terminology, system technologies, networks, info management, social implications, solution development, and integrated scenarios. Why are you running? So do not prepare for the two papers in exactly the same way. Paper 1 requires accurate procedures, while paper 2 requires accurate facts, accurate explanations, and application. Paper 1 asks you to do it. Paper 2 asks you to explain it. Paper 1 does not care that you knew which button you wanted. It cares whether you actually clicked the correct one. To survive paper 1, you need to follow the instructions, not your imagination. At the beginning of paper 1, check every folder and every file. Make sure that all the required files are present. Make sure they're open. Check that the important applications and settings are available, like the developer tab. And do not rename, move, delete, copy, or create files and folders unless the question specifically asks you to do that. And probably most importantly, save your work regularly from the beginning. Don't wait until the final 10 minutes to discover that your computer has completely been plotting against you. The biggest paper 1 rule is this. The examiner is assessing the feature you use, not always what the final result looks like. If the question asks for a date as a field, typing in the date is not enough. If it asks for a column break, pressing enter repeatedly is not the same thing. If it asks for a formula, typing out the final answer is not going to earn you any marks. If it asks for a linked object, inserting an ordinary object may not earn the linking mark. The correct result created with a wrong feature is still going to cost you marks. In Word, expect multi-step instructions involving fields, captions, tabs, columns, mail merge, page layout, and automatic features. Read every measurement carefully. If an image must be exactly 4 centimeters by 6 centimeters, that looks close enough is not a measurement. If a paragraph must move to the next column using a word feature, don't press enter until it behaves. If the question asks for a mail merge, check the data source, the recipient list, the merge fields, and the final merged documents, and save both documents when required. In Excel, check your functions, ranges, cell references, formatting, conditional formatting, your text functions, charts, and lookup formulas. Before copying a formula, ask whether any cell reference needs to remain fixed. Check whether the lookup requires an exact match, that true or false with your VLOOKUP, and inspect the formula bar before moving on. Excel will calculate the wrong formula with absolute confidence. It has no idea what the question paper wanted. And just a tip from my side, don't forget the building blocks in Excel. Now in Access, make sure that you are working in the correct view and changing the correct property. The field size, the format, input mask, whether it's required or not, the validation rule and text are not interchangeable. A validation rule controls what may be entered into that cell. The validation text explains what went wrong. And remember that creating a button or a calculated field is not enough if it doesn't perform the required action.
Don't panic! Don't panic!
For HTML, use a text editor, not Microsoft Word, so using Notepad or Notepad++. Check your opening and closing tags. Check things like your image paths, whether you're referring to an image in the main folder or in a subfolder. Check the attributes with things like alternative text, width, height, borders, column spans, col span and row span in your tables. Then your 3 steps. Every time you do something, file, save, refresh. And check whether the user will actually be able to see the changes. HTML does not care what you meant. It only cares what you've actually typed.
High five.
So with all of that said in the prac, let's look at how to survive paper 2. Well, we're working on 1 fact per mark. Now paper 2, like I said to you, requires a completely different mindset. You start with a mark allocation. And in general, like I said, 1 mark is awarded for every correct fact. So if the question is worth 2 marks, you need 2 separate facts. A 2-mark answer containing 1 fact is simply a 1-mark answer wearing ambitious clothing. Okay? No. Pay close attention to the command word. Name means give the term. State means provide a brief fact. Identify means recognize or select the correct item. Explain means show how or why. Compare means discuss both items. Do not write a full essay when the question says name 1. Cannot tell you how many times I've dealt with that. But do not give a 1-word answer when the question says explain. Use the scenario also in your answer. If the question is about a drone, a rural citizen, an online government platform, a payment system, anything like that, connect your answer to the situation. Avoid vague answers such as, oh, it is better. It is faster. Okay? We don't do that when in grade 12. We don't give answers like that. Or saying, oh, well, this one's better because it's more convenient. Explain why it's better. Explain what becomes faster. Explain how the convenience helps the user. Okay? For example, do not simply say that adding RAM makes a computer faster. Explain that more RAM allows the computer to hold more active programs and data at the same time, which can improve multitasking. Do not simply say that a VPN is secure. Explain that it creates an encrypted connection over the internet, allowing the user to access the network more safely. And please, unless the question asks for a brand name, we don't use them. Use general terms. Write web browser instead of automatically naming a specific browser. Write word processing software rather than assuming the examiner wants a particular product. This is important from national level. This is important. Let's just quickly look at 4 words that should make you slow down, because these are common prelim traps. And the 4 words and phrases that should immediately make you slow down. The first one is only. Now, if the instruction says display only 2 fields, then the other 2 fields should not, they shouldn't display, they shouldn't appear. If it says include only the recipients with email addresses, then the recipient must be filtered correctly. If it says work only in a particular folder, don't start reorganizing the rest of the data files. No. The second word is automatically. Okay? Now, this normally means that you must use a field, function, formula, or some sort of built-in feature. Typed text may look correct, but it's not automatic. Then word number 3, exact. An exact match lookup is different from an approximate match. That's the difference between using true and false. An exact image is different from dragging the image until it looks roughly correct. An exact file name means using the file name given in the question paper. And then we move on to our last word, our last prelim trap word, and that is explain. A definition alone may not answer an explanation question. You normally need to show how something works, why it is useful, why it creates a problem. I'm just thinking of 3D printers. And then let's talk about time management. Do not fight 1 mark for 10 minutes. Like paper 1 gives you an approximately 1 mark per minute, or 1 minute per mark. So use the mark allocation to guide your time. At the beginning, check the folders, check the files, check the applications. This is usually why you have a little bit of extra time at the beginning, before you start. Then you start working. And if a 1 mark task has already consumed several minutes, let it go, leave it, move on and return later. Do not sacrifice 10 achievable marks while fighting for like 1 difficult mark. No.
Stop it. Get some help.
Reserve at least the final 10 minutes for checking. During that time, you're checking things like the file names. You are checking to see that you've saved every file, that you have inspected the formulas, that you've tested your mail merge, that there are 2 files to a mail merge. You've run your queries, you've opened your forms, your reports, you've refreshed the HTML page as well, and just make sure that you've completed the files and that they're all in the correct folders. For paper 2, a possible starting plan is approximately 25 minutes for section A. You'll be spending around 90 minutes for section B, and then around 50 minutes for section C. And the remaining time is for reading, returning to difficult questions, and checking your answers. And by all means, adjust the plan if your paper is structured differently. But do not allow 1 difficult question to steal time from several questions where you could actually have had the answer. Now, you may not know every answer immediately, but that does not mean that the entire examination has gone badly. Keep moving. Collect the marks that you can earn. Then return to the difficult questions with that time that remains. And so here's your final prelim checklist. Save, read, and collect the marks. Before submitting paper 1, check every file name and check every folder. Save every open file. Inspect your formulas in the formula bar. Check that fields and automatic features were not typed manually. Confirm that your mail merge was completed and saved correctly. Run your access queries. Test them. Open your forms. Open your reports. Test any buttons that you ended up creating, usually in your form. Save and refresh your HTML page. And make sure that every required file still opens. And before submitting paper 2, check that every answer is numbered correctly. Count your facts against the mark allocation. Check the command words, those explain, discuss. Make sure you've answered the actual question. Use the scenario where it is appropriate to do so. Avoid unnecessary brand names. Remember, we spoke about that. Return to every unanswered question. Remember, in our strategy, we've now got time to do that. And make sure your writing is clear enough to be marked. Your prelim is important, but it is also a rehearsal for the final exam. So use it to discover where you are strong and where you still need a bit of work. Do not walk into the prelim hoping that the paper is easy. That's not going to happen. But walk in prepared to handle it even when it's difficult, because you can do it. So before you leave, comment with the paper that worries you the most. What is it? Paper 1 or is it paper 2? I'll use your responses to help me decide which prelim breakdown to tackle next. Guys, make sure that you are subscribed to Education with Mr. Hambury. Don't forget to switch on those notifications so that you don't miss any of the upcoming revision sessions and our live sessions as well. Read carefully, work accurately, manage your time, collect every mark you can, and give yourself the best possible chance to succeed. Learn, grow, and excel.